Hi creative friends, this is Soraya and thank you so much for joining me. So I am going to work on two different spreads at one time, and I'm just going to experiment. And what I'm going to do is I am going to use hot warm colors on this side and cool colors on this side. Now I am working on my very warm Kraft colored cheap composition lined notebook, and by me working in this way, I hope that I'm going to be able to illustrate how the color of the page so vastly affects the colors that I choose, and what's going to work for this kind of a tone. Because if I do a warm spread on this page and make a video and then, like turn the page and do a cool spread on this one in another video, it's not going to be as effective as me doing a side by side, because now we're going to be able to see, and I include myself in this as well, like I'm even going to be able to see how important the color of my ground is going to be. Now keep in mind that this is a warm color, but it's still a warm neutral color. It's not like a warm color, say like, a pink or a red, because that's way more overpowering, or an orange, say, for instance. This is a warm neutral color. So what I'm going to do is I do have some paints over here. Now these are very hot, warm colors, and even the undertones of these colors are warm. Whereas this here is a red, it's alizarin crimson, but the undertone is blue. Now, my first inclination is to reach for the alizarin crimson to offset this warm, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna experiment, and I'm just gonna go for like a really like a hot color. So I'm gonna use one of my favorites, which is a Cad Red Light. And even though it's called a Cad Red Light, it actually is orange. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this onto my palette here. And honestly, I've had this tube for a while, and I think I need to purchase another tube because I'm on my last little bits and pieces here, but I'm still gonna use it. I'm not gonna waste it. So I am going to just lay some marks down here, and actually I want to make some dots or some fingerprints. And I have my Ot light on, which replicates, it's supposed to replicate daylight because it's so dark outside. It's rainy and gloomy, which I love in real life, but for me filming videos, it's not the best. So I don't want to turn my art lights on because they can flatten the color, but my art light is more, it's just a bit more gentle than my overhead art lights. So I'm just like going, oh, and I got some of the orange on this page, which I really didn't want to do, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move on to this page, and I'm going to use a blue. So let's see here. So I'm going to try to do similar sorts of things, but just using different colors. And we're just going to see, like, how different it is. Now, honestly, as much as I absolutely love, 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 love all the hot colors, I gravitate naturally towards them. I am liking, immediately, I'm liking this page a lot more. This page, the orange is really kind of being washed away. It's a very strong, powerful color, this Cad Red Light, but on the warm background, it loses a lot of its potency to me. And color is a very personal choice. But immediately I'm like, wow, I just love this. I love the contrast of the blues. The blues really pop. The warm of the page really shines through. And over here, a lot of the color that's already on here is getting lost. I feel like this is kind of looking blah, the page, and then the color is looking blah. So this is a great way to illustrate how important the background color is when you're using a colored substrate. So now we're just gonna kind of I have a little bit of paint there, and I'm just gonna get it off my finger. I try not to waste any of my paint because, you know, I mean, why would I? Like, you know, when I can just put it on a piece of paper or collage, my sketchbook, whatever. So now what I'm gonna do is I am gonna pick a yellow for this page, because like I said, I am gonna go with, I'm gonna say mostly a predominant hot spread, or you know, a predominant cool spread. So maybe like 90% hot and maybe 10% cools. I'm not sure. So see, even the yellow is, you know, getting a bit lost here. And I'm just gonna show you, like, see the yellow over here? I feel like the yellow over here is much more vibrant because I have used, you know, blacks and more neutrals. And over here, this yellow is just getting lost to me, to my eye. So now what I'm gonna do is I am going to use green, but I don't know if I'm gonna mix my green or if I am going to just use it from a bottle. And I think for the purposes of this video, I'm just gonna use it from the bottle. So I'm just gonna grab this one here. It's a Hauser light green, and it's just a cheap paint. It's a cheapy paint. So let us see what is gonna happen here. Now keep in mind that I generally tend to gravitate towards the hot colors. Ooh, but I'm really loving that. I'm really loving this green here. So over here, the yellow looks like it just kind of got washed away, whereas the green over here is looking like, you know, it's really adding so much to the page. Okay. Now, I don't know if I should add some collage or if I should add a pencil. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use a black Stabilo, and I am gonna inject just a few marks. And for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna keep the black when I move on to this page. I'm not gonna go with a blue Stabilo. I'm just gonna keep the black. So right off the bat, I'm liking the black on this page a lot more than the black on this page, and I don't know why, but like I explained in another video, not only is color relative, but you know, all the lines and marks and values, like everything is relative. Everything works with everything else. Like nothing exists in a vacuum. So right off the bat, I am just loving this page a lot more than this page. This page to me seems just, it's not working. It's just not working. I love these colors. These are my colors that I naturally gravitate towards, but it's just not working. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add some of the cashew, which is a neutral. It's a warm neutral, and I'm gonna add it just a little bit over here. And I'm just trying to think, like, what kind of color could I add on this side? Like, I want to add a warm that is cool dominated, if that makes sense, because I'm adding a warm dominated cool. a neutral onto this page. So now I want to add and I think I might add my alizarin crimson because it does have cool undertones to it. And okay, let us see. Now, normally I love alizarin crimson. It is such a delicious color. It's rich, it's vibrant, it's just, I mean, it's my jam. But on this particular spread over here with the warm colored, now I do like that. I do like that. I do like that. I'm surprised, actually. And another way of, another reason to work like this is you just learn so much. You learn so much about, you know, in this case it's color, but you can do it with composition, line, value, etc. And you also learn about your own visual language. Like, I am really loving this alizarin crimson. I'm surprised. I thought that it was not going to look good with all these other warms, but I am loving it. Oh my goodness. I feel like, you know, I may be able to bring this page back to life a little bit here with this alizarin crimson. Now, my problem is going to be I'm going to want to put alizarin crimson all over this page, and that's not going to work. I have to kind of temper my inclination to just be like, wow, I love it. Now I'm going to just put it all over. So now with the alizarin crimson on this page, I feel like it elevated it a lot more. And now this page, while I still am liking it, it needs something. There's too much cool for me personally. So let me see what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I want to, I think I'm gonna bring in a pink, and we're just gonna, like, this is just an experiment, you know, and we're learning and we're just playing. So let me bring in a pink here onto this other page and see what that does. Now, I am really liking this pink, but I feel like it's a bit too kind of powdery pink, I guess. So let's bring in some of that. Like, this is a pink purple, and so it's got a blue undertone, so it's kind of leans towards the cool. So I feel like, okay, now that feels a little better. So now if I had to pick between this page and this page, wow, I don't know actually. Now I feel like they're both kind of, I could go either way. I could go with this page or I could go with this page, but it's nothing is really like zinging to me. Like, it's not looking like, it's not like really, oh my god, I love this, you know, it's not standing out in any way. So I'm just gonna keep on working a little bit here and just see what I can kind of come up with here. And what I'm going for is a zing, like something that's really gonna pop for me. And now I am liking it when I mix this purple and yellow. I'm really liking that actually. So that's kind of a good combination, I think. I'm getting a little bit of a zing, not a lot, but just a little bit. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add a little bit of this chalk paint in ink, and it's a Payne's gray really. So I'm just gonna kind of play around with this a little bit. Okay. So, let me see. I'm going to turn this around here. And now I'm going to add my blue Stabilo here. And I'm still going for that zing. See, now I'm really liking this page a lot more. And I don't know if I'm maintaining my 90% warm and 10% cool. I don't know yet. But I'm really liking this a lot now. A lot more, I should say. I feel like it's getting closer to a zing, if you will. I'm sorry, that's not a very technical term, but it perfectly illustrates what I'm going for. And let me see here. And I haven't even laid any collage down, so let's see if that's gonna change something. Now this is dictionary page and it reads as a neutral because it's black and white. So I think I'm gonna just add it over here. And I don't think I'm gonna add it onto this page because I think I'm gonna pick a more warmer type of collage. And uh-oh. Okay. So let's see over here what I can add. Okay, I'm sorry, I said a warmer collage, but do I want a warmer collage? I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna use both and see what works. And remember, I'm looking for the zing, so we'll see. Now, I do kind of like that. It just kind of breaks up this piece over here, and it kind of just adds a little bit of interest, but still maintains the same color field. So I like that over there. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron and doing morning pages, but another great thing to do is use cheap lined composition notebooks for your morning pages and then rip them up, or you can add paint to them and then rip them up and use them in your art. I think, you know, you'd have to use a large book because she very specifically states that you need to not use a small book. So you can use a large book, but then, you know, rip it up after. It's the same principle. And then just paint over it after, and now you'll have your writing to use as collage. So I'm really loving this piece over here, how it integrates so well with the color field, but then there's that pop of like black there. And I think I'm going to kind of put that over there. So now if I had to pick which one I am gravitating towards, I'm gonna pick this one, the cool dominated page. See here, I've got like a gray, and I'm just gonna add a little bit, just dip it right in there. So this is very, very personal, you guys, because color choices and, what we gravitate towards informs us about our visual language. So, one person might like the warm on the warm, and another person might like the cool on the warm. And I think that just comes down to personal choice. But for me, I naturally gravitate towards the hot colors. But in this particular case, because there is a warm background and I'm using a predominant warm spread, I'm gravitating towards this. So what this tells me about my visual language is, as much as color is, I would say, the most important element in my visual language, I am gonna have to say that contrast matters more to me than the actual color. So I hope I'm making sense with what I'm saying. And this is why working in a book like this and in a way like this and experimenting with different colored substrates, etc., can help us, is because, whereas I might think, oh, my most important thing in visual language is color, now I'm going to say, well, not really. My most important thing in visual language is color, but there's an emphasis on contrast and value as well, rather than just color alone. So it's not simply color, it's the contrast between the cools and the warms. So it's that balance and tension, if you will. Because if everything is hot, then nothing is hot. If everybody's a star, then nobody's a star. So I hope I'm making sense. Anyways, you guys, I hope that, you've learned something. I've certainly learned something from doing this particular spread. And if you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.